It is not my intention to start off normally with this notion that America is in some form of free fall catastrophe. That's not my thing. It's not what I'm about. And I don't like people who do this. There's a lot that we are very, very blessed to have in this country. I'm very proud to be an American because of being associated with you. And with all due respect to our friends around the world, I am proud to be an American with you. You as my brothers and sisters, my fellow Americans. I like America. I like what we do. I despise the government. I despise these people. I despise everything about the political parties, elections, the procedure, the fraud, the lies. I despise it. I despise. But I love you and us. Today, as we speak right now in New York City, it is the most beautiful day, 72 degrees. We enjoying this. Mrs. Alden and I had a wonderful, there's a little Indian restaurant kind of down the street. Beautiful, man, wonderful food, Indian, American citizens. An entire block was devoted today to dogs, dog pets and adoptions. They had music and kids and face painting and food. And it's just in this beautiful day, a veritable cacophony, a melange, a myriad, a mosaic of people, all of like gay, straight, tattooed, black, white, Indians, headdresses, languages, everybody getting along. We are blessed because of heterogeneity. We are blessed because of who we are. We are a great country. We're fun. We're good people. We don't care about people's lifestyles. Don't hurt anybody. Don't bother anybody. Don't affect children, and that's it. It was so wonderful. Just they have these adoptive dogs and how dogs and pets. I know that when people show love towards a pet, a dog, it connects sometimes with a humanity that people have a difficult time showing towards humans. I know it sounds strange. You can show kids. You can have kids who are themselves so so abused in their life, so abused, yet you show them a dog it's wonderful. You can see it in their eyes, and horses, and it's wonderful. So I am not losing my faith in the American spirit. I'm not losing my faith in the human spirit. I'm not losing my faith in humanity. I'm not in the least. I'm not anywhere. That's not my thing. But what I'm telling you is I am not going to sit back and let these people get away with murder by destroying our, how do I say this? Our way of life, our values. I mean it. I'm not going to let them do that. I'm not going to let them do that. And that's precisely what these people want us to do. They want us to be at each other's throat. They want to destroy our faith in the system, faith in everything. Let me tell you something else, which is really something which I think bothers me tremendously. Tremendously. First, if you're going to go into public service in this country, you're going to have to understand this thing called politics. And if you are going to be involved in politics, you're going to have to understand that there are some things you're going to have to do. And every now and then, somebody will come along and somebody will provide something to you. There is a political god that will give you, I know this sounds terrible, catastrophe that you will benefit from. I know that sounds horrible, but let me explain. In 1965, September the 9th, 1965, was Hurricane Betsy. Hurricane Betsy absolutely ravaged, destroyed, decimated, clobbered New Orleans at a level and at a depth you cannot imagine. It was horrible. At that time, LBJ received a call from Russell Long, Senator, Hale Boggs, Congressman, and I believe a congressman named Ellis. And they said, you have to be here. You have to get here. You have to be a part of this. He said, what are you talking about? He says, you have to come to New Orleans. And LBJ said, look, I'm a little busy. Got a lot of stuff going on right now. And if you don't mind, I am, the president and everything. And Russell Long said, you didn't win Louisiana last time. You didn't win. But if you came now, Eisenhower couldn't beat you. I'll never forget that. If you come now, he said, Eisenhower couldn't beat you. I thought that was most and when Lyndon Johnson heard that, he said, that's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear. So what he did was, he says, what do we do? He said, let's go. So what he did was, he got a Marine One, flew to Andrews, took Long with him, and they basically it was a Lake Pontchartrain, and just dumped it. Now listen to how brilliant LBJ was. LBJ shows up. It was a church, some place, some event, I forget what it was. And there were black victims who were standing around, or not standing around, but they were with sandbags, and just the water was rising. It was horrible. No electricity, dark. He shows up. He has a flashlight illuminating his face. Imagine that big old LBJ head with those ears and a little bit, with a flashlight and a bullhorn. And he says, this is Lyndon Baines Johnson. And I am your president. And I'm here to help. And these folks looked up and said, that sounds a hell of a lot like Lyndon Johnson. He goes, it is. And he's wading out into the water, and he's got a flashlight. And from that moment on, history was made. And he knew. So cut to the chase. Now we have Hurricane Helene. And what do we have with that? Absolutely despicable. What they did, how they ignored, it's beyond anything anybody could ever see. I can't even begin to tell you how the fact that these people, this government, especially when they're trying ostensibly to win re-election, don't care. And FEMA and Mayorkas says, sorry, all the money went to illegals. Sorry, F you, America. F you. The fact that President Trump, as we speak, is ready to, or is going to be taking the stage at Butler, I think he is about to, returning with everybody. I can't believe the actors here. Let me tell you something on a personal note, on a private note. If you're just tuning in, if you've just heard me for the first time, one of my sponsors, I've always liked great, good folks. Mike Lindell, mypillow.com. Love those guys. Promo code Lionel. But this one here, Prepare with Lionel. I want you to listen to me, and I want you to listen carefully. I've never felt more that this is almost propitious for us to bring this up. In the event that something ever happened where you needed emergency food, where you needed emergency food for a week more, I know people say, well, we've got some, I've got some stuff in the freezer, and we got some banana chips and some spaghetti. I don't want to be one of these people who try to scare the hell out of you, but let me scare the hell out of you. You don't know what panic is when something happens and your government is telling you right off the bat, they're telling you, we don't give a flying about you and your family. In fact, we love chaos. We love giving all the money and the resources to these people. In the event of a disaster, you're going to need food, water, energy, and ammo. I can't take care of the ammo part now, but I can the others. My Patriot Supply is the best company, bar none. Best. And if you go to Prepare with Lionel right now, we've got a special deal just to get you going. I mean, this is like selling smoke detectors, first aid kits. This is not a luxury. I'm not selling trinkets. I'm not talking about, hey, here's a nice little set of earrings. No, this is emergency food. And it's stackable, 25-year shelf life, 2,000 calories a day with a variety you can't believe. Go to preparewithlionel.com. Look around you. Water purification, waterproof matches. You want to go into generators. You've got to think in ways you never thought before. Let me tell you something. You've got to understand something. Don't be alarmed. Be prepared. Don't be scared. Be prepared. Get ready to go. I want you to listen to me very carefully. If something happens where there's 7 days, let me tell you how it works. We missed this longshoreman strike, and that's the fishiest damn thing I've ever seen in my life. All of a sudden, I'm gonna take care of you guys. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna break the bank. Okay, we got a contract until January. Really? Well, we don't really, but I don't know what that's about. But it stinks to high heaven. Whatever it is, I don't know what the hell it is. So these folks come along and they say to you, if all of a sudden docks close and things back up and fuel gets backed up and people get scared. Remember one weekend we had ransomware. Somehow gas stations were closed because of ransomware. Remember that one? It's like, what the hell does ransomware? What does that have to do with, I want to fill up. Sorry. Remember during the Rona, gas was, wait until Iran says, we're going to scuttle the ship in the Straits of Hormuz. Yeah, gas will be $20 a gallon. Think I'm kidding? We're not energy independent. And America, excuse me, Kamala and cerebral palsy are going to laugh about this because there is no Biden. They called it the Biden-Harris administration. There is no Biden. It takes one little event. Now, here's how it works. One day, there's a local story, and you'll hear it. Your local channel 4, channel whatever it is, excuse me, will have a show of cars lined up at a Costco or a Trader Joe's or a Kroger's or a Publix or whatever it is. And you see people lined up. The other day they had toilet paper runs at Costco because of the strike. And then the word gets out. And the people start getting freaked out. Then the lines get longer. And the gas lines get longer. And then somebody says, well, if the ships can't come in to deliver the oil, that's it. Or just the fear factor. Just the idea that there's a run on something. And then they're going to say the insurance carriers, carriers that bond and underwrite these stores are going to say, We don't want anybody there anymore. We want to pull this back because we want to make sure that you and the people that work there don't suffer any kind of harm or aren't at risk. So let's just close these stores down. See, because these people are outside and they're acting kind of crazy. Remember, we go crazy. And then it just starts. It just starts. And that's just a glitch. Forget the fact of any kind of torrential, any kind of problem, forget that. And all I know is after this week, after what we saw, I'm looking at North Carolina. I can't believe what I'm seeing. I can't believe what I'm seeing. So I'm telling you right now, my friends, it's that simple. And I have this on the link. And I just want to. This is not an ad. This is a warning. Go to preparewithlionel.com. I'm going to talk to you about something else. How many of you folks have self-protection? Second Amendment. I'm going to tell you a story. Happens all the time. I'm a former prosecutor, trial lawyer, criminal law, know my stuff. So one day, not so long ago, we have a friend of the family, kind of a regular person. He says, hey, got a very simple thing. I said, what is it? Well, I went and got a shotgun. I love this. Got a shotgun? Yeah, I got a shotgun. Oh, okay. Got a shotgun. Okay, got a shotgun. Well, what kind of shotgun did you get? Well, I don't know. Gotcha. Okay. And do you know how to use it? Yeah. Okay. And what are you using the shotgun for? Well, for self-protection. Self-protection, huh? I said, that's interesting. Self-protection. Well, that certainly is a good idea. So let me ask you a question. Where are you going to keep the shotgun? Where are you going to keep it? He said, well, I said, in the closet, right? I was going to keep it in the closet. I said, that's the first place I'm going to look. If I burglarize, I'm going to go right to your closet. I'm going to go right to your bedroom. You're not going to keep it in the garage, right? You're not going to keep it in your basement. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You're going to keep it you're going to keep it right there, aren't you? Yep. You sure are. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. How about that? Yep. Now, assuming that you hear some noise and you are able to get to your shotgun before somebody comes up and finds it, and you walk outside and you look, and there appears to be some like a young person who's standing in your car in your house, just standing there, not threatening you. He's standing there. What do you do? What do you do? Hey, you, what are you doing here? Okay, that's good. What if he doesn't leave? What do you do? What are you going to do? How far away from you you upstairs, he's downstairs? What's that scatter pattern? You can you shoot this person? What if he's got the wrong house? What if he's just confused? What if he's just, can you do this? Do you know what? What if you look outside and somebody's breaking into your car? What if somebody's breaking into your car? And you say, hey, what are you going to do? And I gave him just a number of scenarios. And he said, well, I never thought about it. I said, that's what you got to think about. Not how to use the gun, how to clean the gun, how to oil the gun. None of that stuff. We're not talking about oiling and cleaning a gun. That's not the issue. The issue is, what are you going to do? And when do you use this? See, right now, this is going to be Hunger Games. This is going to be like, I don't know what the word is. This is going to be survival. We're talking survivalist. See what's going on in North Carolina? Your government's abandoning you. Lyndon Johnson will be all over that. Donald Trump is there. Donald Trump is there. Now, do you think that maybe they told Kamala, listen, don't worry about this. Why? Don't worry about, don't worry. Don't worry about having to do anything. Well, don't worry about it. What do you mean don't worry about it? Well, look, it's in the bag. So you let them worry about this stuff. Really? Yeah. Let them worry about this. Let them worry about these things. You don't have to worry about that. Why? Do you think she knows something? You think somebody told her, hey, listen, don't worry about it? Because because David Axelrod, by the way, in Politico, David Axelrod was saying something to the extent of, "You guys you're crazy." Carville was going berserk. Carville was going berserk when he was saying, "What are you doing? What is going on? What is happening?" None of this makes any sense. You get the feeling that nothing makes any sense. Where is this going? Where does this go? Who's looking out for us? None of this stuff makes any sense. I don't understand it. This woman's not even campaigning. Again, Axelrod Carville says, "Where is she? She's nowhere to be found." You get this fool. I don't know where. I mean, I don't care what you say. If you saw the debate, dear God, that was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen in my life. I can't believe what I'm seeing. How is this happening? She's technically running for president. And this is what you're saying? This is what you're seeing? Dear God. None of this makes any sense. None of our monies are going here. None of this. We are spending billions, sending billions of dollars to Israel. For what? What are we doing? To get Hamas, to destroy and to kill. Not only that, but in Beirut. I mean, it's just, okay. Are you ready for the repercussions of that? I don't know. In 2 days, it's going to be October the 7th, the anniversary. Don't go outside. Don't go outside. The rumor here is people are saying, don't go. They're planning stuff around here. I ain't going to go anywhere near this. What is happening? Ukraine. What are we still what are we supporting this thug for? What is this? And we've got people in North Carolina and Nashville begging, and you give them $750. Does anybody understand what's going on here? Does anybody? Weird Matter says it's not supposed to make sense. They want us afraid and confused. Do they really want us afraid and confused? Well, that's okay, Weird, but she's trying to win an election, ostensibly. Why does she want us dazed and confused and afraid? Mr. Colville says, nothing makes any sense. I blame Carl Sagan and the popularization of nonsense physics. Everything makes sense if you follow the laws of thermodynamics. Mr. Colville, I have no idea what that means. But I know in your heart of hearts, you said, this makes sense to me. I'm going to cite Carl Sagan. I think this makes sense. This is going to be a very popular position right now. I'm going to bring up Carl Sagan and thermodynamics, either as an attempt at humor or as a point that nobody understands. And I thank you for that. I thank you, even though it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Here we go, too. Jim Holmes, our communist government. Don't use the word communist. This is not communism. Communists laugh at you. Marxists laugh at you. Socialists laugh at you. Anybody who uses the word communist, obviously is not a communist. Because even the nomenclature will prevent you from using the word communist. Communist, Marxist are words that we use. Please get the story straight. For the love of God, once and for all, let's go back to school and do rudimentary understanding about the economic theories behind Marxism, socialism, and communism. It does not mean totalitarian. How about Haiti? Look what's happening in Haiti. Think there's freedom in Haiti? No. You think that's capitalism? How about Dominican Republic? Or no, I'm sorry, Honduras, Guatemala. Do you think this is no? Do you think that totalitarianism or poverty has to? No, this is a welfare state. This is giveaways. No, this word has become. It's like the word satanic. Michael Silberg, ladies and gentlemen, says Russian FSB has so many operatives whose job it is to sow discord and acrimony among Americans. They call that active measures. You're referring to that ancient YouTube. Thank you, by the way. That ancient YouTube from an old ex-KGBer who you've seen this. I don't know. This is a guy who died of alcoholism. I'm not saying it's not true, but this is a trope. This is a trope and a meme that you're recycling, Michael. And I thank you for this. But it's absolutely the most ridiculous thing anybody's ever worked. By the way, to sow acrimony. Do you think that the FSB has operatives? You think this is the easiest job in the world? Hey, what I want you to do is I want you to go to Cleveland. Yes. I want you to sow acrimony. That's easy. Kamala's doing it herself. With all due respect, this is a trope from this is Cold War stuff. I mean, it sounds good. Acrimony? A propaganda? Anti-American? No. I mean, but no, there's no need for that. It's ridiculous. How would they do that? Let's assume somebody from the FSB company goes, where do we go? I'll tell you what we do. Let's put up some Facebook pages. We'll steal the election like Hillary did in 2016. We'll put up Facebook pages. And we'll sow acrimony and the discord and the dyspepsia. A kind of a disjointed collective disgust on the part of the people who... Come on. I mean, it sounds good, and I appreciate that, but come on. There's no need for that. Nobody right now can possibly... The enemy is Kamala. The enemy is this, whatever this group is, woke, radical left, whatever they're called, that come along and have changed everything over the years through ideology, the perseverance and perseveration of ideas and thoughts that are so from destroying the family, destroying faith. It started with Rona. It started with shutdowns. It started with lockdowns. It started with the initial, gradual, and systematic destruction of the right to exercise faith, the right to attend sporting events, the right to go to school, the right to assemble. They destroyed that. It's not the FSB. We did that. You had people like Fauci, who's off the hook. Fauci, who's on a plane right now, job well done. One of the most incredible operatives ever. Fauci is public enemy number one. And he got away with murder. Literally. Got away with murder. Mayorkas, no FSB plant, no KGB, FSB, or the predecessor, or NKVD, if you really want to go back, could ever do as much to destroy this country as Mayorkas did by looking the other way and greenlighting and greasing the skids for an invasion of this country by not just illegals, but rapists, murderers, homicidal maniacs, the dregs, the flotsam, the jetsam, the pond scum, the bottom of the barrel of humanity. Not that everybody who comes here, of course, isn't that, but within that group are people who are just horrible. Look around you. You have a blithering idiot, I think, moron, who last night or the day before, her prompter went down for 40 seconds and she didn't know what to do. She didn't even know. Bill Clinton had the prompter go down one time during a State of the Union address and he went right through it. No problem. She's a moron. You've got this guy, this liar, this absolute pathological liar by the name of Tampon Tim. cerebral palsy with the jazz hands and this weird string. It goes on. How many of you folks think that we should give away our money to foreign countries before we help ourselves here? Anybody care about that? Anybody know about that? Anybody? You must do this. I know there are people who say, "Oh, we're going to give Israel a blank check. What do you want? 2,000 pound bomb? How many do you need? How many you need? You want two bunker busters? Got that. J dams got that. 8? No. 10 billion. And that's just this installment. There you go. We'll take care of that. Zelensky, what do you want? 8 billion, 10 billion? Yeah, because that's going right to NATO, which basically is a Ponzi scheme, goes right back to the military industrial complex and the war profiteers. But meanwhile, hey, can we have something for us in North Carolina? Nah. No. Sorry. We used it up. And we sit here like idiots, just staring and just saying, "Oh, this is terrible. By God, this is terrible. Hey, you want to put together I got a nice little," or we watch Fox News. Or they just go, "This is terrible. This is just awful. This is terrible." And let me tell you something, my friends. I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you again, and I'm going to say it again. And I want you to really understand what I'm saying here. And I'm not saying it just to be, and I'm going to give you this again. This prepare with Lionel. Listen to this right here. There is going to come a time when the hurt is really going to be serious. Okay? And you're going to say to yourself, I understand that now. Do you know we live in a world where they actually made fun of people who were preparing? They called them preppers, tinfoil hat lunatics. They actually did that. Blows my mind. These people who walked around with masks in a car, in a pool, who wanted to stand on stickers 6 feet away, who even had they had lines you actually in stores where you would go down an aisle in one direction and then go down the other, as though the coronavirus just somehow knows which direction. We did this. You did this. There are people still walking around. Have you seen these clowns who walk around with their mask under their chin? What is this? When you have braces and you take them off, do you put them in? Do you leave the cast on when you have a broken leg? I mean, there's no one else. We lost our mind. And you think it's the FSB sending operatives? You're not talking. What was this guy's name? Oh, God. KGB Agent U2. Remember this one? Oh, this was a beaut. Oh, yeah. Yuri Bezmenov. Yuri Bezmenov. Ex-Soviet spy. Yuri Bezmenov. You ever hear about Yuri Bezmenov? Bless his heart. And this is probably propaganda too. Yuri Bezmenov. Yeah. Poor Yuri. Yuri was 54 years old when he died. Did you know that? Very, very sad. He defected here. He died of a quote, massive heart attack. Yeah. Very, very sad. He let me see. Towards the end, he was. Where did he? He's a very interesting character. Very interesting. I'm not saying it wasn't true by any stretch of the imagination, but let me see. I would have given anything to have the internet in the old days. I would have absolutely loved to. Here we go. Let me see. There was I was trying to think of something. Hang on. I have these wonderful, um, I have these wonderful, what the word is not moments, but where I have my little phone and I can say, I wonder if he's dead. Oh, is he dead? Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's dead. Yeah, he's dead. Yeah. Look at this. Oh, because that's my job. So and so. Oh, he's alive. He's dead. I remember one time, Thunderbolt Patterson. I like watching old wrestling shoot videos. And he's alive. I had no idea. And then you realize some people are so young. Uh, who was it? FDR was young. Hitler was 50, was it 55? Boy, he did himself in. Lincoln looked horrible. He was, Errol Flynn was like in his 40s. He looked 70. So anyway, we have all of this information that's available. And you can read about Yuri Bezmenov. Please read it. It's very interesting. Get a kind of you can just immerse yourself in it. And I'm not saying that a lot of the theories aren't true, but it's a different kind of a mindset. By the way, did you ever think that we had Russian agents in this country? Of course we did. Did you think that Alger Hiss was a spy? Or yeah. Do you think that there was a Hollywood proliferation of communists from the Communist Party? Absolutely. Absolutely. Does that mean that people should have been ratted out? No, not necessarily. But I like when people have a little bit of the story. Like they'll find something up. Like I was this morning, we were doing a live show at Lionel Nation, the other channel, our other sister channel. And somebody was saying, "Oh, it's only the Federal Reserve, Jekyll Island, that kind of a thing. 1930, Federal Reserve, fractional reserve currency, the Federal Reserve, the Fed, Bretton Woods, the gold standard," and they were just saying these things because recently they found or read something about the Federal Reserve, and they were of the mindset that somehow anytime they talk about this, they're going to say, "Well, the Federal Reserve." And if you said, "Well, what is the Federal Reserve? What does the Federal Reserve do?" And it was, I think, Kucinich or somebody said, "Federal Reserve is this federalist Federal Express." I said, "Well, what does the Federal Reserve do?" And they have no idea. In fact, most people don't. Most people don't know. So always remember something. Take at least 6 months to learn a subject before you really get into it. I like when somebody gets into, all of a sudden they'll get into a story like either 9/11 or JFK or whatever, and they just kind of see a few things. And you can also tell people who are, say another one too, changing the subject a little bit. The biggest story right now that's going to blow everything apart is Diddy. And I tell people this, and some friends say, "Oh," because they don't either like hip hop or don't like Diddy. They think it's a silly story. So you don't understand. What this guy is going to pull, what this guy is going to reveal is going to affect everything. Every name right now, from Obama, Oprah, Tyler Perry, Denzel Washington, Justin Bieber, Hollywood, Jay-Z, Beyonce, just name, and you're going to find out, wait until they find this guy realizes, "Hey, Diddy, guess what? You're not going anywhere. Do you have any dirt on anybody?" Oh. "Do we have videos by any chance of any famous people doing terrible things?" Oh, yeah. Okay. They better get him out of the Brooklyn facility now. Moved him to something similar to like Frankie Pentangeli in The Godfather, some abandoned Air Force base or something. Not abandoned, but he needs to be under watch 24 hours. He needs to have not plastic, but a paper clothing. And they have to have these lenses and these lights and these detectors that can tell temperature drops. A little telemetry or something to make sure that if all of a sudden his he goes into some type of cardiac arrest, it can check immediately. There's something called noose on a bun. I'm not saying they're going to do this, but it works like this from the days of black magic. And this will be back for your KGB and ISI and MI6 and CIA days. It's called noose on a bun. And when somebody's in any kind of a confined situation, you give them something, water or whatever it is, and of course it's not water. I mean, it's water, but it's perhaps tainted or contaminated with some particular element of something or other. When that is mixed with something else, the two combine together to work as kind of like this binary toxin that's, and when you do any kind of tox screen later on, it breaks down into component parts that are, there's nothing to it. This is as old as it. He cannot be allowed to testify. He cannot be allowed to testify. His lawyer is a clown who talked about the reason why he bought a lot of baby oil, maybe at Costco. He actually said this. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is the story. You know the guy whose last name begins with the fifth letter of the alphabet? Big jet setter, had his own island, plays in the Upper East Side, friends with Prince Andrew. Yeah, that guy. Yeah. His case was nothing compared to this. Nothing. Nothing. What was that about? You got Prince Andrew. Duh. We know that. Who else? Let's assume he had pictures, videos of, just assume, everybody from Macron to Bill Gates to Donald Trump to Paul McCartney, whatever it is, just every name of every big shot. You know what the answer is? So what? What are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with it? Great. Now, what if I have, let's say, somebody who is not as big, but somebody who can crack open the world of hip hop? Do you know how big that is? Do you know what that means? And what if this hip hop guy, what if one of these gangsta thugs doesn't know and cracks under pressure? Warren Ocasio says, my good friend Finn in Zurich swears he saw Steve Harvey walk out of a restaurant and into a cab. Does Switzerland have an non-extradition policy? I have no idea. That's a very good question. Do you know what I should look? You know who I would look to? Cat Williams. Cat Williams. Cat Williams is the most important. Cat Williams is Bill Hicks. There is nobody today in the, I'm going to use this term, the white regular, there is not Joe Rogan, not anybody who is as potentially dangerous as Cat Williams is. Nobody. He is so brutal, so open, so spot on. And his performance, his appearance with Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay was absolutely incredible. It still resonates. Followed by Monique, followed by everybody. And when you hear how disgusting and how lurid and how horrible, not only that, if this thing blows up, remember there's two industries right now that are so big in the world. Two industries, not crypto or anything like that. It is, number one is human trafficking. Second one is extortion, blackmail. Absolutely. Absolutely. Why are they doing this to him? Why aren't they playing ball? Why? I don't know. I can't figure this out. Why are they going after Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, over travel upgrades? I don't understand this. Yolanda Torres, ladies and gentlemen, says Tom McDonald is Cat Williams' equal. Let's see who that is. Tom McDonald. I'm not familiar with Mr. McDonald. Tom, Canadian rapper and singer. Is that who you're talking about? I have no idea. Please forgive me. Is that whom you are speaking of? Clive Davis, former head of Arista, was Diddy's guru. Oh. Shannon Sharp is busy wrecking any credibility he had. How is that, pray tell, Mr. Silberg? I think Shannon Sharp absolutely good. I will check out Mr. McDonald. Shannon Sharp, they told him back it off. But when he did that thing, he opened it up. Let me tell you something where if ever there is, you do know that regular conventional terrestrial AM radio is dead, except for in the case of disaster, believe it or not, if you have a crank up radio, remember, preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. I got all this. I've got the information here for you. Look at what you can do. That's when you really need radio. But anyway, terrestrial radio works in hip hop morning shows, hip hop and Latino, black urban, I should say black or urban morning, urban zoos, breakfast club, the best. Regular conventional, like Howard Stern couldn't get near that. Never could. Because Howard Stern's so compromised, so defanged, it's not even funny. But that's also good. Another thing too is radio is also good for sports commentary. If you want to hear sports, like right now, Mets, God bless the New York Mets, you listen to sports shows. They are so good at this whole thing. But black folks, believe it or not, by virtue of their whole world being the subject of a conspiracy, in some respects, they are far more prone, far more able, far more likely to listen to and understand and believe that the story that history depicts is not necessarily true. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Cat Williams is absolutely, he's a prophet. Cat Williams, also Monique. Listen to what Cat Williams, who's that guy? Eddie Griffin or something? I think it's Eddie Griffin. Fantastic. Let me see. Eddie Griffin. Yep, Eddie Griffin. Fantastic. Eddie Griffin is great. But Cat Williams, there is nobody today. Yolanda says, yes, it is. His exposés corrupt government through his music. Oh, I like that. I like that. Soros is not tuned in anymore. Soros is just buying a whole slew of radio companies. He's been approved. Why I have no idea. He and his son Alex supposedly are doing that. But let me go back to what's going on. There is not anybody today. American stand-up comedy is dead. There is nobody. Who? Louis C.K.? Who? Name, who's the Bill Hicks? Who's the Carlin? Who is even the old days of, I one time opened, still got that poster here. Mort Saul, Dick Gregory, Robert Klein, and I opened for them. Kind of did an introduction thing. Those days, Mort Saul was out of control. Dick Gregory? Oh my God. Who is that today? Who? Nobody. Stand-up comedy is dead. White stand-up comedy, it's corny. Let me say something to you, and this is going to bother you, and I'm sorry. The most overrated, I'm sorry he's dead, Norm Macdonald. You're kidding me. They just step over each other. He was a genius. Why? Because he made fun of OJ? No. He just was so, he created, the White House roast, the correspondence roast. Well, I missed it the same thing. These comedians they love to circle the wagon and sit around and talk about how funny they are. They love to do these shows, these platforms where they just laugh at each other. Like, aren't we cool? We are so funny. And others kind of get it, like Theo Vaughn, he's kind of like getting away from it because, believe me, his future is not comedy. And even though Joe Rogan, that what he used to do as comedy, that's so passe. What he's doing now, the performance art he's doing now, is better than anything. Comedy, how do I say this? It wasn't funny, it was poignant. And now it's gross, it's nasty, it's dead, except for Cat Williams. Black audiences show up wanting to be, I want you to hurt me. Today, you can't do that because of the white audiences. Well, politically incorrect, and you're conspiratorial. Look at the biggest hack, a man he should be ashamed of himself is Bill Maher. He's not even a hack. He doesn't even know what he wants. He doesn't even know what he's doing. He reads prompters, and sometimes, I swear to God, he reads it for the first time and laughs. He goes, hey, that's funny. That's your joke. Oh, yeah, that's right. Comedy is not. Lenny Bruce, when he started, was funny, but Lenny Bruce, what made him interesting was it's not funny. George Carlin made you think towards the end. It wasn't funny. You didn't, when he talked about, there's a club and you're not a member of the club. You might have enjoyed the way he said it, but you didn't feel that was a joke. It wasn't funny. There's nothing funny. Cat Williams is funny when he talks about the oil and everything else, but no. See, we YouTube in particular, TikTok, but YouTube changed everything. Who wants to listen to some 35, 40-year-old druggy has-been make jokes about whatever it is when you can listen to, and this is incredible, watch John Mearsheimer and Judge Napolitano. That's the most fascinating stuff. It's not funny, but it's like, oh my God. You want to talk about entertainment? That's entertainment. Who is really gifted, who goes out there and says, I want you to go out and I want you to storm the stage and I want you to go up and talk about things, talk about Kennedy. Good luck. Black community, you can do that. Not white. No way. No. Let me tell you about American comedy. And by the way, on the 26th of October, I'm at the Cutting Room. Is it comedy? I don't want to call it that. That's the kiss of death. You may laugh at it because it's absurd, but you're going to leave and you'll say, by the way, tickets are available at the section here in the discussion part of it. I hate people telling jokes, especially jokes you've heard before, especially punchline. Hey, I wrote a joke. I mean, I don't get me wrong. There's a certain craft to it. I don't have to, with all this going on in the world, I don't have time for Louis C.K. I just don't have time for, I'm Sarah Silverman. I mean, I know who, and then there are people who are trying. Somebody along the way, somebody told Joy Behar she was funny. I don't know who this person is, but we got to find this person and put them in prison for the rest of their life. I don't know who they are. Kathy Griffin. Remember that? Oh, dear God. I don't know where her sense of talent was. Who came up? And I knew her at Air America. Who came along and says, Rachel Maddow, you're worth $35 million a year to go on TV once a year. I don't understand this. It's done. It is so finished. It is so through. The people who are going to change the world and are changing it are people who don't have a label. They're not left, they're not right, they're not political, they're not social, they don't have a label. They're not Republican, they're not Democrat, they're not black, they're not white, they're not communist. It's different. Let people come forward and just tell you stuff. Just watch this. Watch Max Blumenthal. Is that funny? No. That's the most compelling stuff you'll ever hear. That is riveting. Is Louis C.K. riveting? I don't think so. Joe Rogan is. When Joe Rogan is interested in something, he and Lex Friedman changed everything. Changed interviewing. long form. We're in the middle of a revolution, my friend. Take everything you thought before, every rule of entertainment, whatever, and throw it out the window. 30 days from today, Donald Trump will be reelected unless the Democrats steal it fair and square. And nobody wants to talk about it. When I see that Lara Trump, it's like, what are you doing, Lara? What are you doing? She called her name Laura. It's Lara. You know, Tara. Remember that? Gone with the Wind. They don't call it Tara. I don't think. It's like the name Naomi. Naomi. That's Naiomi. Where did these words? I'm still trying to figure out Missouri. But that's a different story. Let me tell you how this works. Very, very simple. Right? You're sitting in the office. And you got Charlie Kirk and his people there. Charlie Kirk. Oh, God, Charlie Kirk. Hey, Charlie, can we see more interviews of you that you get to select where some college kid says something stupid and you correct them, edit it, but we don't see the other 4, 5, 6 or so where somebody lays you out because you're a phony and you're into this patriotic. You know what? But it's a hell of a gig. God bless you for that. But we're going to have people there on the ground. Thank you, Charlie. Let me tell you this one. Here's what I want to have. Let's say you're sitting here, all right? And there's this guy, and he gets this letter. And the letter is, it looks like a mail-in ballot. And he opens it up, and it says, Kamala Harris. Okay. And he writes it down. He says, excuse me, may I see that for a minute? Yeah. Hey, Lara Trump, look at this name, Demetrius Splitkin. That's the name of this that he just registered. Who is this guy? Does he exist? Did you check the voter rolls? Does his name appear? Does he drive? Does he vote? Who is he? Do you know who he is? Are you just counting the vote? Are you just putting in one? Now, this address he has, 123 Main Street. What is that? Did you check the property records? It's a Best Buy on Route 30. It's not even a home. It's got to be a home. It's got to be a residence. Can't be a business. Or this is an apartment complex with no number on it. You don't know anything about this. Do you know that if you did an audit of all of yours, 700 people have that same address? But you don't know that, do you? Because you're too busy looking for people. Like, wait a minute. Is that guy, is he a foreigner? What's his name? Pedro? Who's that guy with the serape? Check him. He's trying to vote. That's not where they're going to get you. I think North Carolina, they took 750,000 names off. That's how they're going to steal it. Because when you get this thing, there's no cross checks, no auditing. Who is this person? What is this address? How many other people are using it? But they're not worried about that. They're worried about Dominion and Smartmatic. That's over with. And Fox News won't talk about it because they don't want to go through a lawsuit. And Newsmax just settled. So it's like, no, numbnuts. I'm not talking about a machine. I'm talking about the ballot. It's the write-in ballot. That's what I'm interested in, not the machines. That's how they're going to steal it. That's how they're going to steal it. And we've been saying this forever. Every now and then, well, we purged the rules. You should have had teams on the ground. Lara Trump, because she's supposedly the RNC co-chair, she every week should say, now we're going to Wisconsin. Remember, it takes 7 states, 15 counties, and that's it, and you can win the election. And you don't need a lot. You don't need a lot. What I'm telling you, my friends, you will never hear on Fox News because Fox News, first of all, I despise Fox News, and consequently, I would ask, what are you people doing? Get off your ass and do something. You're not revealing anything. Nothing. Okay? And with all due respect, and I mean it sincerely, please, Melania Trump, it's too late. I mean, you know, I don't think anybody cares anymore. I really don't. You had your chance before. Okay, she wrote a book now. Okay, maybe they like her. Now she was dispelling the idea. She said because she was dispelling the notion of Barron being autistic. Why? Because that rude human dingleberry by the name of Rosie O'Donnell suggested that this is not a story of any note. This is of no interest whatsoever. Leave kids out of the equation altogether. That's it. We spent so much time the other day. And by the way, I know you thought he did a good job, J.D. Vance. I appreciate that. Thank you, J.D. But I would have gone in there and cut his balls off. I promise you, Mr. Jazz Hands, when he would have limped off that stage when I got through with him. I don't know what this being nice and cordial is. Everybody wants to be cordial. Everybody wants to be cordial. Do you understand this? Think about this. This is the most important thing in the world. And they're saying, what, wasn't he polite? What are you trying to do? This guy's a liar. He's a liar. He's a pathological liar. He lies about every aspect of his life. From being a command sergeant major versus a master sergeant, IVF versus IUI, the winning coach of the state, that's wrong. The coach, he lied about that too, about winning a football. He's not even the coach. Not being drunk when he got the DUI. I mean, he's just a liar. He's this liar. And J.D. Vance, oh, God bless him, was just so cordial. And all you cared about was, whoa, he sure looks scared. I would have cut his balls off and handed them to me. Here they go. Same thing with Trump and Kamala. First question I would have said is, let me ask you a question. And as soon as ABC says, excuse me, I'm talking. Kamala, answer me a question. Is Israel committing genocide in Gaza? Yes or no? Now, why do I ask that? I want to destroy the Democratic Party. I want to split them right down the middle. How do I do that? By pitting them against each other. Did they do that? No. Let me also tell you something. What Trump does that I love. If they don't want to hear that they're eating cats in Springfield, Ohio, mention it. Whatever they don't want to hear, mention it. You don't want to hear that? Mention it. They only take flack when you're over the target. I don't know. Everybody wants to be nice. And why Trump didn't go to Springfield, I have no idea. Americans, when they heard they're eating cats, what? Do it? What? That was the most important story there was. Trump let it go. I would have gone there if I was Trump. Bring all you people into a room. Seriously, what's your name, sir? Jerry Anderson. Mr. Anderson, I noticed you were appearing before the Springfield County Commission. Is that correct? Yes. And Mr. Anderson, you claim that you saw or observed Haitians eating pets or stealing pets. Is that true? Now, you know you're lying, sir. No, Mr. Please. I have on a good authority that MSDNC said that doesn't happen because the city manager or mayor said that didn't happen. Now, of course, people who normally work for the government don't admit that people are eating pets in there. Would you please answer that question for me, please, sir? What do you have to say to people who say you were lying? Did you see this? Yeah, do you have pictures of it? I got them. Of course I do. Yeah. What is your name? Phyllis Denton. Mrs. Denton, did you see? I saw it too. Did you testify before the county commission? I certainly did. What about you? What's your name? Travis Duntley. Mr. Duntley, did you? I did it too. Now, you know that they're going to say this is a conspiracy or you work for me. I would have this. This drove them. I'm going to show you a picture. This is Kamala laughing when I brought up any kind. What do you think about that? I mean, this is the stuff they tell you what drives them crazy. That's what you talk about. But instead, we're talking about what? Inflation? Larry Kudlow? Listen, Larry Kudlow's a good guy. He bores the hell out of me. And Harold Ford Jr., if I wanted to reduce the level of teen pregnancy, I would have Harold Ford Jr. describe the sex act. Nobody'd ever do it. Cable news is for the old folks groups, convalescent centers, short bus crew. I don't know. They're living in the world of Rush Limbaugh. God love Rush. I loved him to death. Great person. Loved him personally, but it's over. It's a different world now. It's a different world. It's a different world where a meme and a GIF, something along those lines, makes more sense than putting together these stupid CPAC conventions, which is another waste of time. I'm going to leave you with this. Number one, put an end to this stupid thing called parties. I'm a registered independent because I got to be something. They got to say I got to be a member of a party to vote. Okay, so I'll be an independent. Democrats are gone, and Republicans, I don't even know what they're about. I have no idea what they're about. I think they're the least objectionable. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to say this one time. Preparewithlionel.com. Not for me, but for your family. I promise you, one day, very, very soon, something really bad is going to happen. And you're not going to be able to get food and water supply and generators and all this stuff. And you would have said, why in the hell wasn't I paying attention and go to preparewithlionel.com? Why? I didn't even look. I didn't even look to see what it was. I was too busy saying, nah, that's not going to happen here. Really? Really? That's famous last words. That'll never happen here. That doesn't happen in our country. Okay? Okay. In the meantime, dear friends, I want to thank you for subscribing. I even got one of those. Thank you for subscribing. You like that? Thank you for subscribing. Thank you. I mean that sincerely. And also I want to say to our dear friends who are so kind tonight, Yolanda Torres, thank you. Warren Ocasio, thank you. And Mr. Michael Silberg, thank you, sir, for your kindness, perspicacity, and your overwhelming collective wherewithal. We'll be back tonight at 7 p.m. on the other channel, Lionel Nation. And let me also tell you to follow Mrs. L, my beloved, Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Because when it comes to the Menendez brothers, they're gonna get out with time, sir. Notice how Kim Kardashian is jumping on that bandwagon. She had nothing to do with it. Remember, she said, I'm going to be a lawyer. Yeah, okay. All right. Anyway, Lynn's Warriors, follow her, and also Lionel Nation. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. I am so honored not only to know you, but to have the opportunity to speak with you. We'll talk soon. And don't forget, until we meet again, my friends, as we always end, remember these words, a monkey's dead, the show's over, sue you. Da, da.